Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words, and thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely.
First, I want to start off just by talking about our underneath zone drops. I really want to dive into this. It's kind of, it's not your dad's hook curl. We really grind into it, and hopefully you guys can get something from it. But it's a repetitive pass progression to defeat offensive concepts. My name's Tony Calgene, like Coach said, at Ursinus College. And if, afterward you guys want to, pick my brain, or you guys just want to talk some ball or whatever, you guys can reach me at Coach Cage on Twitter, Instagram. I'm probably one of the few coaches that has TikTok. So I'm on there. And then acalgene at ursinus.edu. So my background, this is my 11th season coaching football. I'm going into my 6th season with Ursinus. I played linebacker in college. I've coached linebackers for the past 7 years. I've also done some time with the D-line and running backs. And actually, this upcoming year, I'm transitioning from linebackers back to defensive line for the good of the staff. So I'm excited about that change. But I did want to – I was starting to create this PowerPoint for our guys. So I'm happy I'm able to go and share it with you guys. Like Coach mentioned, I'm also the special teams coordinator and recruiting coordinator. And a little bit of background about our defense. We're a 4-2-5 defense. We're probably moving more to a 4-3 this upcoming season just because of the personnel that we have and some of the guys we had graduating. But we're also a big split field coverage team, running quarters and different types of split field robber coverages. And then we add in a little cover 1 and cover 3 to close that middle of the field. So I had to throw a little quote up there. You are what you repeatedly do, a great Aristotle quote. And then Bruce Lee, I fear not the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. And I find that to be so true. What you'll see with our drops are, they're probably a little complex at first, but once our guys master the drops, they're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again for 4 years straight. And by the end, we're pretty good. We can look at number 2, look at number 1, understand what the offense is doing, and be able to combat what they want to do and take away the option that's in our zone. So our zone drop philosophy, the secondary has the luxury of being pass-first players. They're all pedaling out, all that good stuff. The defensive line has the luxury of being run-first players. Their first step is always forward. For the linebackers, they got to worry about both. We need to try to simplify the responsibilities as much as possible. So we don't want to have a bunch of different drops and a bunch of different rules to those drops. So we kind of have all-encompassing one single drop. We want to be able to give different shells and different coverages, all right, which are going to show a variety to the offensive coordinator and quarterback with the secondary, but we want to keep it simple for our linebacker. So what you'll see is we run a ton of different coverages, but underneath it's the exact same drop for all of our coverages. All right, so we have the same guys doing the same things over and over again until they can really, really master it. One of the things I always say to our guys is we don't want to teach defense. We want to teach defending offenses. So our defensive concept menu, our first couple coverages, and we have a couple more that aren't listed here, but I'd say this is the bulk of what we do. We have our read coverage. That's what a lot of people call palms. Your corner responsible for 2 out, safety vertical of 1 and 2. Our dude coverage, so our corner is man unless under now, and then the safety's 2 vert or out. Our bro coverage, corner is man on unless under, safety 2 vert to rob 1. Our crook coverage, corner's deep half, safety's late vert of 2 to rob 1. And then our funnel coverage, which is true, old school hard cover 2, corner flat, and the safety deep half. So within these concepts, I said we have 5 coverages right here. We can run them full field, so we can run read on both sides. We can run dude on both sides, but we'll also game plan it where we're running read to 2 receivers and then bro to a tight end and a flanker or something like that. So we're able to be very, very multiple with those 5 concepts and turn them into a myriad of concepts. So understanding the piece of the puzzle underneath. So we pull this up the first day the install, and we want to talk to our guys about understanding where they're covering on the field. All right, so in all our split field coverages, if all the 4 of these receivers went vertical, we're going to have 4 guys deep. All right, and since we know that in our base stuff, we have 7 droppers, that means we have 3 underneath defenders. So our guys need to understand, all right, that there is a middle hole player, all right, and then there's going to be a hook curl player to either side. So these are our 3 droppers. We call our guys on the outside overhangs. We call our guy in the middle hole player. All right, and once the number 3 to either side disperses one side or the other, now the offense has an advantage to that side. So we need to make up for that advantage. So what we do is we'll push our hook curl player to the flat, and we'll push our middle hole player, all right, to that hook curl. All right, so I know that's not any revolutionary thing. A lot of people run that 2-to-1 concept, and I'm really going to dive into that going forward. So day 2, now we start to talk about it. All right, we want to cover men, not grass. We want to be pattern match. We want to match up the guys that are running the curls, running the digs, all that stuff. So our zone teaching progression starts with our overhangs. We always talk about we need to stop the stick route. The stick route is the easiest route for the quarterback to complete, easiest route for the receiver to run, and it's just catch 1-2 throw, catch 1-2 throw, or 1-2 throw. And there's teams in our league that will run that until, they'll just run it up and down the field. It's just taking 5 yards, 6 yard a pop. So we always talk about playing through that stick first before we get to the hook, before we get to the curl. We'll also call this drop our under 2 drop. All right, so when we understand the receivers and how we number them, they need to be under the final number 2. We'll also talk them through this concept by saying we want to go, you've heard the term 2-to-1. We need to go through 2 to 1, and I'll elaborate on that. The next drop will be our stick, again, hook, curl. All right, so we're building off of that same drop until we're leveraged to the flat, and guys will have to understand whether they have number 2 flat or number 3 flat. And then our Mike, all right, he's going to be the middle hole player, and we also call that final 3. So essentially, he's going to be hook curl to the side that 3 goes out to. So where the LBs fit in all of this, our Mike, I really think that the middle hole drop is way more complex than any of the overhang drops, because he has to understand the hook curl drop himself, but then also understand, where 3's going, if there's, 2 guys in the backfield, or, a myriad of other things. So he's always the middle hole player. It makes his learning really easy. Our overhang player are in Reed and Dude. Like I said, Reed, the corner's going to be responsible for 2 out. Dude, the safety's going to be responsible for 2 out. So now they know that their responsibility is hook curl flat of 3. In our bro and crook coverage, we have no true flat player, so they need to understand that they are number 2 flat, and then they're true hook curl players in funnel. But because we're able to do it over and over and over again, all right, all they really need to memorize is when they have 3 and 2 to the flat. So our alignment for our overhang defenders, all right, as I mentioned before, the easiest route to complete is the stick route. And we used to have a bunch of rules about, all right, if you're apexed, you're 75% with the back to you, 50% with the back away. If you're in the box, you're always in your 30 based on the back or whatever. Now my rule is if you're in the box, you need to be wide enough to defend the stick of the tight end. All right, once you're removed from the box, your apex needs to be wide enough to defend the stick route, and you can tighten up a little bit with the running back away. But my teaching going forward is probably getting further and further away from that. So at the snap of the ball, we have to shuffle square. All right, we want to gain no depth. All right, and we want to get hands on 2, eyes on the end man on line of scrimmage. This is more for when we're apexed outside the box. All right, we don't want to open up our hips until the route runner runs past our level. All right, so we always tell our guys, let his momentum open up your hips, because if you're going to open up your hips right away, you're going to allow him to just catch that stick in front of you, and you're not going to be able to drive that route. All right, if he's the RPO read, which he will be a lot of times when he's removed from the box and the back's to his side, he defends the pass first. All right, and you need to do something with your box, manipulating it some way to knock down the run, and we'll run stunts and have some safeties fitting down and do some things like that. So here's kind of a visual of what I'm talking about. So as I said, in the past we used to have rules for, all right, if you're the back's away, you're 50%, back's to you 80%, because you're probably the RPO read. Now I say, hey, get there, get as wide as you need to be to take 2 shuffles and take away the stick route. So day 1, we'll have a line of receivers, have them run sticks, and we're just shuffle, undercut, shuffle, undercut. And we need to note that slower guys need to be wider. All right, and as much as they don't want to admit it, they just need to kind of accept it and be able to play. So we got a couple looks here. So we're looking at our linebacker in the box with the tight end. I think he does a good job of shuffle. He stays square, and then he's undercutting this route. So we're taking this stick away. The biggest thing I could say here is he needs to get hands on this tight end as he breaks underneath. But I do think this is a good job of taking the stick away. unfortunately, we did drop the interception. All right, here we get some motion. All right, we have a linebacker actually kind of playing out of position here, so he should probably get a little bit more width. But you can see we don't get enough width. We can't shuffle and take away the stick here. So his first instinct is to open his hips up and crossover run rather than shuffle and get there under control. We get lucky because the quarterback kind of double pumps it. But this is probably not a win for us because, again, teams will just sit in this and throw that stick route and complete it at a very, very high percentage. Here looking at some practice film here. I think we're doing a decent job of shuffle, staying square. But you guys can see even that yard and a half of depth that he gets here, it's just too much that we're not able to break and get our hand on the ball or pick this ball off. So even just that yard and a half of space is enough for the offense to complete the ball. So again, shuffle, stay square, gain no ground. All right, another look here. All right, we're looking at the linebacker to the top side here. Shuffle, undercut. Again, he gains a little bit of depth. I'd rather see him stay square. And another thing too is being prepared for, what's the offense doing? They're running stick to set something up. They're going to run stick and nod. They want you to overplay this. So let's be tighter. So when we get our hands on this guy, when he does end up turning this into a nod, we're not fully sprinting just forward. All right, like you guys see here, we're overcommitting to the stick right now. I think we need to do a better job of being in position to get our hands on, and then as he turns up, still be in position to zone turn it and get a little bit of depth so we can take away that nod right now until it clears to the safety. So I like what we're doing here. We just need to be more under control. And probably his problem is he's probably not wide enough right now. All right, here we have back away. So again, this is kind of why we're getting away from the back away concept. He's not thinking he's the RPO read, so he's tightening up to the run. All right, but he's a little bit over aggressive here, and I know this guy's watching right now, so I think this is pretty funny. But just too over aggressive. It is pass, and they're able to complete the stick right in front of us. So we need to be a little bit more disciplined. Again, get away from this 50%. Let's be in that 75, 80%. Or, if it's a really slow guy or you're just not confident, if he's inside shoulder, we can work with that. All right, and we need to be able to get off a block of a wide receiver and go make a play in the alley. But we definitely need to be able to take away that stick route. Last couple here. All right, so looking at this linebacker here, again with the tight end, you guys can see he just opens up his hips right away rather than shuffling square. And while we're in pretty decent position, we're right there. This is an easy completed ball. All right, we're not able to undercut it because we opened up our hips, and now it's going to take us an extra 2 steps just to get back to where we were. All right, so we need to be way more patient undercutting that. All right, and then this last one right here, all right, we're looking at this linebacker right here. Don't know why I didn't circle it, but you guys can see, first instinct is to open up your hips and crossover run to go get there to get hands on 3. All right, and as soon as we do that, number 2's breaking in. This is really going to be the route that we need to cover. Is this little square in, and because we're not wide enough, we get out of our drop, and now we have to go back, and it's just we're taking extra steps that we don't need to take. All right, so again, widen out, shuffle square, all right, get hands on the guy outside of you while getting a read, all right, and then we'll be able to build off of that. All right, so the first drop that we'll talk about is that hook curl progression. So again, we defend that stick, we shuffle square, gain no ground, hands on 2, eyes on the end man on line of scrimmage. Once they read pass, we want to get our eyes to 1. We whip our head. All right, we want to keep our hands on 2. And the one thing we say is get 2 off his landmark, push him. All right, the easiest way to play a route is to erase it. And I know, offensive guys will be yelling and screaming about, PI and holding and stuff. We need to do it, obviously, in the course of the rules, but nothing says you can't get a good 2-hand chuck on a guy. And, if you got great leverage, you're going to get him off his route, if not on the ground. All right. We want to trail 2 until 1 breaks in. All right. Once 1 breaks in, he's becoming the new number 2. We're going to go drive the route of 1. All right. If one continues vertical, we're going to just stay under number 2, all right, because we're looking for that final number 2. If one's vertical, two's vertical, or two's settling down, and we're taking away that window, now it's time to get our eyes back inside. And I think this is kind of where we differ from what a lot of other people do, all right, is getting our eyes back inside and squeezing back to the hash, knowing that that's where your final thrust is going to come from. So just a real quick picture. All right, we have an overhang here. We have an overhang here. We want to get our hands on 2, eyes to 1. 1 breaks in. We're going to go get underneath that round. Same thing over here. Eyes on 2, 2's out. We go and get underneath the new number 2. All right, because once these routes disperse, all right, here's the new number 1, and here's the new number 2, which is, again, why we call it that under 2 concept. All right, so here I think we do a really good job of getting our hands on 2. I'd like to see him come underneath this route, but we don't. It's fine. We survive it. And he's getting underneath technically it's still number 1, but the new number 2 on this, with number 1 running that other in-breaking route. And he's really, we're playing 2 routes with 1 guy. So I think this is a really good job if you guys watch this guy at the bottom. Hands on 2 takes away that route, expands underneath number 1, quarterback double clutches it, all right, and it forces a sack. So again, I think that's a really, really solid job of that under 2 concept. All right, looking to the top here, probably should be a little bit wider. Eyes on 2. 2's going out. He gets his eyes to 1. 1's breaking in. We need to stay under this route. I think he does a pretty good job of adjusting to this slant route that's coming back to him. All right, looking at the bottom here. Again, hands on 2, eyes to 1. What's 1 doing? 1's going vertical, so he should stay under number 2 here. All right. He gets a decent, he gets his hands on. I want to see, again, let's push him off his landmark. And then the thing I don't like about it is we need active eyes on our man, on our zone. He looks back inside too early, and we kind of lose this guy when we really should have him covered up. But I think he's starting to get the concept here. All right, up at the top, again, 2 out, 1 breaking in. He's going to be the new number 2. But just playing 2 way, way too hard, this is exactly what the quarterback wants to see. He wants to pull you out with number 2 on that flat route and open up the slant window. So I think the first time that we saw the 2 out and the slant from 1, we were a little bit better paced. We're a little bit too fast going out here. And luckily, I mean, the quarterback wasn't very accurate, so they don't complete it, but we don't have it as covered. We don't have it covered as well as we should have. All right, bottom here. Again, hands on 2, eyes to 1. Probably a little bit too fast because we're getting over the top of this route. But he should see 1 going vertical. We stay underneath number 2. Have active eyes looking back at the quarterback, back at your man. All right, and one of the easy ways to play it is to keep your hands on the man, know where he is, and then continue to have your eyes on the quarterback. So not the best technique, but he is taking away that little button hook window. So I think that's a pretty solid job. All right, one thing that we didn't get to talk about, kind of our smash or double out concept. All right, so we're getting smash here. Most of our concepts, if we're just a true hook curl player, we either have a flat player there already or we're spinning one down with our corners or safeties. So if we get that little hook there, all right, and then number 2 running that corner route or the 7 cut, we want to get hands on 2, eyes to 1. 1's either breaking out or staying where he is. Our teaching point is going to be, we just want to slide across that front side hip. All right, we're not going to ask our guys to run with the 7 cut. I don't think linebackers are prepared enough to run with a wide receiver, especially if it's to the field and there's a whole lot of space. But we need to get across that guy's face and across that front hip. So it forces the quarterback to have to put some touch on that ball, all right, which is going to give our safety some time to get over the top. If we allow them to just throw that bullet in there, all right, we're not good enough and we're not getting enough width. All right, so you can see that concept here. All right, we're going to be looking at the linebacker right in the middle here. So we get 3 breaking out. He gets his eyes to 2. 2's also breaking out. He needs to continue to get width. And again, try to cross this front hip to force air under this ball. So now our safety has some time to get over the top. I think he's probably a little too flat. Again, we're not asking him to man this up, but get some width so we can force some air under that ball. All right, so we've talked about one going vertical, or one breaking in, and us taking number two. All right, the next thing to talk about is if two eliminates or we're getting multiple verticals. All right, so we're looking at our linebacker on the inside here. It's going to pop up in a second. All right, so here he is. He has eyes on number two. All right, they're going in motion. Two's going vertical. One's eliminating right now. He looks out to the new number two. Two's going vertical. We're not going to ask him to go out with a vertical. So where's the only place that his threat can come from now? All right, with one eliminated, all right, and two going vertical, is going to be back inside. So he does a really, really good job of calling this off and then going and driving that crossing route. You'll see this a lot in NCAA, a lot in mesh. But understanding that, all right, I got my eyes to two, two's going vertical, eyes to one, one's going vertical. All right, where's my threat coming? It's coming back from the inside, either a crosser or a check down or something like that. A similar concept here. We're watching our linebacker here. Two's eliminating, eyes to one, one's going vertical. You need to get your eyes back inside. He sees it, but he's too late. We need to get great breaks. All right, so we always talk to our guys about breaking on when the quarterback's front hand comes off the ball. All right, a lot of quarterbacks will give you like the shoulder fake. All right, both hands are still on the ball. Some will give you the little pump fake where the hand's just coming off. All right, you know that it's not a real throw. It's not until that front hand is coming forward past the shoulder blade or past the shoulder that you know it's a pass. And we need to get a cue on that and get ready to have a great break to go tackle up anything in front of us. So our hook curl flat progression. All right, so it's the exact same progression as our hook curl drop. All right, until we get an out call from the middle hold defender. All right, on the out call, we have to get eyes to our flat threat, and we need to play through all windows. We don't want to just go drive it right now because there's probably a curl or a dig or something. There's something behind us. All right, there's the reason that there's somebody in front of you is because there's somebody behind you. All right, and once guys realize that, they can be really, really good. All right, but we want to gain width with a flat route. If you feel it out leveraging you to the sideline, like the quarterback can throw that flat, that swing, whatever it is, and he can beat you up the sideline, that's when we tell him to go hug it up. And if it turns into a wheel, all right, you've bought it. All right, so now it's that hook curl flat drop. So we have our hook curl player here, hands on two, eyes to one, one's breaking in. We want to go get underneath that route. This is the new number two. You hear that out call from the middle hole player. Now you expand with width. Again, we're not going to go drive it right now. We're going to play through this window as long as we can. And then as that quarterback's hand comes up or this guy starts to out leverage us, all right, now we'll go press it. All right, and then same thing on the other side. Play through all windows. All right, so these first couple are looking at the apex linebacker here. We're just getting two to the flat. So again, we're still building off what we talked about before. So we have to sit through the stick. So we're shuffling there. We want to get our hands on. He breaks off in front of us. That's great. Because we didn't gain any depth, all right, and because we're shuffling square, we can go drive that route right now. I think this is pretty well covered. All right, we're going to be able to go hug that front side hip and undercut this. All right, on the reverse side, all right, looking at same guide, same concept, different play, you guys can see instead of shuffling square, we pop open our hip, and just opening up that hip is enough that, you know, we can't drive our feet right now. We're taking that extra step, 1, 2, 3, just to be able to go drive it, rather than being able to stay in our shuffle and either like hockey stop and run downhill, or T-step, whatever guys are more comfortable with. But I mean, this guy's way more open than that last picture that we just saw. All right, here we're going to look at the overhang defender. All right, so we're getting two vertical. I'd love to see his hands on two with his eyes to one. We get an out call from the mic. Again, I'd rather come underneath this route and drive it out to number one. But he's getting out underneath number one. And the thing that I love about what he's doing is he's not going to press that back right now. All right, he's shuffling square. He's getting a little bit of depth, a little bit of width, and he's able to stick his foot in the ground and make a play on this curl route. All right, and this is exactly what we want to do and what we mean by play through all windows. Bang, come underneath it. And, if the quarterback were to check it off on the swing, the swing route's at -6. We're at 6 or 7. By the time he catches it and we come downhill and make a tackle, it's going to be a tackle for 0. So really, really good job by this guy. All right, here you go with that wheel route. So We shuffle out with them. All right, it turns into a wheel. Again, I'd rather shuffle out with them and get our hands on them. All right, but we turn, don't look back if we're not in phase. He got kind of turned around because by the time he was in phase, the ball's coming in. I teach our linebackers that we want to play the ball on the way down. Very few times are you guys going to go and jump over a wide receiver or running back or something like that. So we should just, as he's catching it, rip through his hands. But we did run with the wheel, so again, it's not perfect. These are linebackers. Our middle hole progression. So our middle hole player is always going to be in the box. He has his eye on the near guard. We're a guard reading team. And when he reads past, he's dropping off a number 3. So there's a couple things that 3 can do. If 3 stays in, we drop on the post, we read the quarterback's eyes, and we're making a play. Because number 3 is not dispersing to one side or another, the offense doesn't have an advantage. All right, so now we gain an extra dropper. If 3 presses the middle of the field, there's 2 types of things that you'll see. All right, you have a vertical, and remember, you are the middle hole defender, so that means there's literally a hole in the middle of our defense because we're a split field coverage team. All right, you need to go defend that hole. So we will have our middle linebackers run vertical with number 3 down the chute. All right, or you'll get check down. All right, and check down, we need to be really, really patient because, like we said before, why are they checking down? Why is he standing there? All right, it's because something is behind you. All right, so we hold off the deeper routes and then we rally to the check down again on that quarterback's front hand. All right, and then we also have 3 distributing to a side. Again, that means gaining width to that side. Again, also becoming the hook curl player to that side. We want to call out when we know it's not an angle route. What we call an angle or a caddy route is that back, making it look like a flat and then busting it back inside. Or sometimes you get those option routes where they're giving the double moves and stuff like that. Once you know he's going to the sideline, you can give that out route. We should still be getting width to that side, but I don't want to call an out. You start moving to the hook curl, and then that guy busts it back to the inside, and now he's just running, again, straight down that middle hole. All right, and then, again, they need to understand that now they are the hook curl player to that side. All right, so here's putting it all together. Now you have him dropping off a 3. Again, we call it final 3 because initially we have 1, 2, 3 receivers to this side, 1, 2 to this side. 3's going out to the left. We're going to drop to the left. And at the end, when the routes distribute, we have a final number 1, final number 2, and here's our final number 3. So that's how we kind of visualize it with numbers as opposed to pass drops and zone drops. One thing that I always want to hammer home to these guys is, offenses know that we drop off a 3, and they're going to do a bunch of different things to try to confuse you guys. So, 3 might be on one side and he'll come across, or, there's two backs in the backfield and they're crossing every which way, and you need to know which way 3 is actually going. Another thing that always changes what we're talking about is crossers. So in this picture right here, we'd have our linebacker dropping to the right, our middle hole player. He's dropping off a 3. He gets his eyes to 2. 2's running this dragger. All right, so at the end of this route distribution, you're going to have a 1 here and a 2 here. On the opposite side, you're going to have a 1 because that dragger is going to run all the way across. That 2's vertical and 3. So you have to understand that the offense is trying to cheat you here. Once you see this crosser, all right, you need to carry it from deep to short because, again, we don't want to go hug it up because why? There's somebody right behind us, or there should be somebody right behind us. So we're going to carry it from deep to short, and we pass it off to the overhang defender, and we look, again, for that final number 3. For our overhang defender, all right, same concept that we're talking about. So he's getting hands on 2, eyes to 1. He's expanding under number 1. He's been under number 1. Where does he get his eyes back? Back inside. Now he's able to go and get a great break on that late crosser or late throw to the dragger. All right, start off with a couple where the back stays inside. So you have the mic here. Does a really good job of seeing pass, back stays inside, and he's just going to go drive underneath number 2. All right, and then we have our overhang driving under number 1. Would rather see the overhang stay a little flatter, but again, it's good by the linebacker there. You guys watch number 45, bang, playing the quarterback's eyes. He's looking to our left. We're going to go drive the route to the left. All right, 3's in the backfield. We got 2 by 2. All right, we're looking at this near linebacker to us. We get the pump fake, or not the pump fake, the play fake. Back staying inside. We're going to drop on the post, play the quarterback's eyes, and we're able to play through this kind of dig post window, whatever that was supposed to be. But I think this is a good job of taking away the route that the quarterback probably wants to throw and we force them into a low percentage shot. All right, similar look here, 2x2, threes in the backfield. All right, looking at this near linebacker. Three staying in. And we will consider like a late check down, three staying in, because the overhangs will be able to take care of that. So we're dropping on the post, playing the quarterback's eyes. All right, and again, we're able to get underneath this ball, make it a more difficult play for the quarterback and receiver to complete. All right, three in the backfield here. I think we're getting into yeah, so we're getting checked down. So you're getting pressed to the middle of the field. All right, so I think the linebacker is doing a pretty good job of, all right, we're gaining a little bit of depth, probably still playing the quarterback's eyes, and he's not driving that route right now because he knows that something's probably behind it. All right, he holds off the deep route as the quarterback's front hand comes off. He can go get a great break on this check down. And we know, in practice, offenses are going to throw the check down a million times, especially in Skelly. The amount of times it gets thrown during a game, maybe once a game. So let's hold off the 15-yard route. We'll rally to the 5-yard route and go tackle it. All right, so looking at this bottom linebacker here, 2x2, three staying in. We're getting the check down. He does a good job of holding off that cross-country route. All right, and again, then getting ready to go drive that check down late. All right, some game action of it. Similar concept. Back's checking down. We're dropping on the quarterback. Feels that guy coming from behind us. Oh, man. Another interception we dropped. All right, probably same play here. For some reason, everybody was running that Y cross like 2 years ago. But pretty good job by our Mike, our middle hole player. Again, holding off that deep crosser, getting ready to drive that route. I would like to see us settle our feet here, and as that quarterback starts locking in, get ready to start driving forward. All right, but putting this together with the rest of our droppers, both overhangs. All right, we're trying to get hands on two, eyes to one. All right, twos are going vertical. All right, we get to one. We're underneath number one. Underneath number one, we're taking away this dig right here. He should probably be a little bit deeper here, so he's forcing air under the 7 cut. All right, but again, where's our next threat? Back inside. So both these guys get their eyes back inside, and now we have that vice tackle, or what a lot of teams are calling like the buddy tackle, where we're all converging on that route. So this is kind of how we want it to all play out there. All right, other releases that you'll get with number 3, looking right down the middle of the field. Again, that middle hole defender. So we do a pretty good job of getting depth, recognizing his pace out of the backfield. You can definitely tell the difference between a check down and a vertical. We're getting helped here by the end line, but we take it away. So I'll take it as a win. All right, we're playing Hopkins. They got the high hurdle winner of the conference, 2x2. They're running the double outs. All right, and this guy's just taking off on us. Our linebacker knows he's got him. He's running with him. But really, really good job by their coaches. And this is, again, this is why we have to mix in the cover 1 and cover 3 and close the middle of the field. You can't always leave it open. So there are some shortfalls in the defense in what we do, but it's also really good at times too. So. All right, so looking over here, I think this is probably 3 distributes. All right, so you got two backs in the backfield. Either of them can go out to the right or left. So both these guys, or the middle hole player, needs to be aware. Sometimes teams will do, they could send potentially 2 guys out to a side, either with a wheel and then like a flat follow or something like that. So our guys always need to be aware of that. All right, but we're looking at this linebacker right here. All right, offense kind of definitely messes this one up. He's calling 3 out. All right, eyes to 2, 2's going vertical. 1's breaking in, and then you can see he gets his pace up, and he goes and drives onto that curl route. Really, really good job. All right, and we talk about this all the time. This is skelly drops. You know what I mean? How many times have I ever seen a middle hole player really get to the curl? Few and far between, but if it turns into a dig, we might go get our hands on the ball. We're definitely going to go run in there and try to disrupt the catch. but just them working on this and getting better. I like to see it. And again, I have seen in a game, offense throw the curl, and the linebacker, the middle hole player, is the first one to go make contact and force that ball out of his hands. All right, similar concept here. We're looking in the backfield. 3 goes out, out. Eyes to 2, eyes to 1. All right, and the only thing I don't like about this is he's working for depth right now, not for width. As soon as we call that out call, width, you need to go get to that side, or because we're dropping deeper than the curl route. And a major note, offenses always teach those guys running the curl, 12 back to 8 or whatever it is, they're going to come back to the ball. So understand that his landmark is going to be back in here. We can stay exactly where we are and just put your head down and go run. All right, his hands go up. If you're there, you can look back. If you're not, just keep on running and get ready to put your shoulder into him. All right, I had to throw this one on. Our final 3 player, he swears he saw this. I don't believe him. All right, so he's looking at 2. 2 gives you that little whip route. All right, run the what we call Q dig, and number 5 coming right behind him. And we got a pick. Ended up scoring a touchdown. So it's a solid job. We made a nice play. But you can't convince me that he was actually looking out to number 2, and he knew that a dig was coming behind it. So got kind of lucky, but they got to understand the concept. All right, so looking to the near linebacker here, we have wide receiver, tight end. All right, running back, you're going to get 3 into the boundary. A lot of teams like to do this. All right, we need to give a quick out call so our linebacker to that side can get underneath the stick route, all right, of the tight end and start driving that flat route. And then the middle hole player needs to go get his ass over, all right, to the stick of the tight end. All right, this one's a little bit tougher. We might be a little bit slow, but we're moving in the right direction. And again, if we can get them to go and throw this either the flat route or the swing route, we're going to go rally up and tackle it for a +1 at best. All right, bottom here, middle hole player, we get 3 going out. You guys can see our overhang. Hands on 2, eyes to 1. He hears out call, expands out, stays through all windows. All right, the mic expands out, looking for the first thing that breaks in. This guy's running like a skinny. I'm sure it's probably supposed to be a dig, but we're underneath it. All right, and we take it away. Again, really, really good job by that guy. All right, and the last kind of one we see a bunch, we call this snag concept. So we see out. All right, overhang's going to go and press it. He probably doesn't need to press it right now. He could probably still get width at his depth. All right, but our middle hole player looks to 2. Our 2's going vertical, looks to 1. 1's running this in. All right, so be smart. Don't go and chase it in, because a lot of times when teams are running that snag, they're reading it and they can keep on going. I think he has really, really good pace to him where he's getting width to that side and he's able to stay underneath this route. So again, we're trying to find that final 3 player. All right, and then similarly, this is confusing. We got 2 guys in the backfield. All right, we have a number 1, all right, and number 2 tight end with a fullback going to the left here. So 3's dispersing to the left. We should be dropping to the left. Our middle hole player drops to the right. Our overhang has hands on 2, eyes to 1, never hears the out call. So we have a wide open flat that leverages us to the sideline. So again, a lot of communication, and you need to practice it over and over and over again. But again, if they're coming in day 1, they're learning it, and by day, whatever the last day of the 4th year is, they definitely have a really, really good grasp of it. But communicate. All right, last couple things I just want to talk about real quick. All right, what happens with verticals? So we want to get hands on the guy that's going vertical or over our outside shoulder, then expand under the next one. All right, we're going to hold it for a little bit of time. All right, and then we need to, so here, hands on 3, eyes to 2, 2's going vertical, eyes to 1, 1's going vertical, and then he knows to get his eyes back inside. All right, looking at this linebacker right here. I think he needs to do a better job of getting width. So he gets hands on 3, expands under number 2. So again, the quarterback can't just throw that ball on the line. He has to force some air under the ball. But then we get our eyes back inside and get ready to go drive this check down. So that's kind of what we're looking for out of our underneath defenders. with verticals. And again, we talk about, we call it the Pierce Street theory. All right, it's all about the quarterback's depth perception. All right, the quarterback doesn't necessarily know whether, we're 2 yards or 5 yards away from a guy trailing him. All right, as long as we're in that window, it's going to make it a more difficult throw for the quarterback. All right, obviously there's some really, really talented quarterbacks out there that can kind of decipher it, but I'm thinking that we're holding off this vertical by him hanging in this window, even though he's 6 to 7 yards away from him. All right, if he were to widen out a little bit and get a little bit more depth, again, we're going to be 6 yards away from him, but we're still taking away that bullet pass, force error under the ball. All right, so a safety can get over the top. All right, here's another look at verticals. So again, hands on the guy outside of you. All right, we can be way more physical here. All right, and we definitely need to be. Expand under number 2. So my guy right here, hands on 2, expand under or hands on 3, expand under number 2. Similarly, he's going to get hands on 2, expand under number 1. So there's no direct throws. All right, other linebacker doesn't really have anything to work with. All right, so he's going to expand to that other hash, holding off these verticals. Our eyes back inside, getting ready to go drive this route. Drive this route. All right, and again, let's hold off the 15-yard route and go tackle up the 5-yard route. A little bit about crossers. So like we said, you see that crosser in front of you, you can't go hug it up like it's a man concept. You have to carry it from deep to short because you know that there's probably a dig behind it. I think we do a pretty good job here of, all right, we're passing off the crosser from our overhang to our middle hole defender. All right, middle hole is dropping off a 3 staying in. Sees the crosser, and you guys can see he's taking him from deep to short. He's still about 5 yards off, so he can go drive the ball potentially. All right, and then he also gets a little bit of a depth at the end because he knows as he's getting to this hash here, there's probably a dig behind him. Fortunately, there's not a very good picture of it. And again, we take away the routes that they want to throw, and then forces a sack. Here, really, really good picture of how we want to play NCAA all around. All right, so looking at the middle hole player here, he's dropping off a 3. 3's out right now. Out. He expands to 2. What's 2 doing? 2's breaking in, so he's going to square up on that, knowing that he has him. All right, on the opposite side, or the side to the bottom. All right, overhang. Sees 2 go underneath. He should get his eyes to 1. What's 1 doing? 1's going vertical. He gets his eyes back inside. All right, you got drag. Drag equals dig, so he's getting a little bit of depth, knowing that he needs to go take over this dig. All right, the Mike should try to hold off the dig from this side, knowing that a dragger is coming. All right, and then the overhang to that top side, he got the out call, but he's not going to go press it up because there might be a drag or curl coming from that side. So I think we do a really, really good job of holding off all these routes. I'd like to be a little bit more precise with our drops. And now, you look back inside, go find the route that you got to go find. But the windows are small and it's tough for a quarterback. All right, and some drills that we do to work on this stuff. Our collision drill, and we have evolutions of this, and then our pass progression. So our collision drill, we'll have a quarterback, a wide receiver, a linebacker, and then what I call throwers. So day 1, our thrower is going to be a guy who's standing there, and he's using his hands, all right? He's going to throw 1 through 5 with his fingers, so 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. All right, and then maybe day 2 when we start to work our hook, curl, flat drop, we add number 2, and then thrower number 3. So our linebacker is working on taking away the stick. We just have our wide receiver. We tell them to run vertical for 10 yards. We're coming underneath, expanding, all right, to get some width as our hook curl dropper. But he has his eyes out to that number 1 guy. And I want to hear him yell, hey, 4, 4, 4. All right, and then as it's the hook curl drop, he's yelling 4, 4, 4. Then he gets his eyes to the flat, 3, 3, 3. And then he settles, eyes back inside to this last guy, 2, 2, 2. All right, and then he can go drive it. And depending on where we are during the year, what we're seeing, we'll throw the ball either during the hook curl process, the hook curl flat process. If we're seeing a lot of dragger that week, I'm going to wait until he gets to thrower number 3 before I have the quarterback throw it. But it's just a simple, easy way to run through it and train guys to get hands on 2, eyes to 1, then where do my eyes go next, then where do my eyes go next. So unfortunately, with Huddle kind of cracking down on all the storage, we deleted a bunch of stuff. So this is what I have right now. This is probably day 1, again, of us working on just getting our hands on. But it's going to be shuffle, shuffle, 2-hand jam, all right, and then look out and look back to the flat threat. So this is only collision drill. We don't have throwers yet. We didn't have a ball yet because we're just working on it. But I thought this first one was pretty good. Shuffle squares, gets his hands on, expands out. All right, this next one, first thing he does is open up his hips. And as we saw, you can't defend a stick route with your hips open up. All right, and another thing that's going to end up happening is if you open up your hips too soon, as this guy runs vertical, now you're even with him rather than being able to be underneath him. So if you get that 5-yard square in or slant or whatever, if you're even with him, you can't run through him. If you're underneath him, not only do you take away the passing window, but now you can go drive that next route. So this is not a great rep right here, and this is by a veteran guy. So keep your hips square, hips square, hips square. All right, here's a freshman. Definitely kind of, deer in the headlight. Shuffle square, all right, and then be able to undercut that stick route. He's on top of the stick route, and he's just kind of expanding out. He really doesn't understand what we're doing. As I said, it's probably first day of pads. All right, same guy, shuffle, shuffle, get hands on. This is a little bit better because now we can undercut any stick route. But again, get your eyes out to where number 1 is and get a little bit more width. Another freshman immediately opens up his hips. He's on top of the route. So as I said, you get that square in, you get that slant. We can't play it, all right? We have to run through this guy. Or if this guy runs a stick and breaks out, again, it's going to get completed because we can't undercut it. So this is not where we want to be. Better job by an older guy. You guys can see he's working. He wants to see, all right, how far inside can I get? So he's taking a better apex. He's going to shuffle, shuffle, hands on 2. Eyes automatically go out to 1. All right, and then we look back. And again, normally we finish with either a pass or interception or whatever it may be, and those guys throw in numbers so we can train their eyes. But unfortunately, we don't have film of that. All right. The other thing that we'll do every single day is our pass progression. So this is kind of like our scaly. I've heard people call it twins drill or something like that. So we get a wide receiver, tight end, running back, and quarterback. I'm going to stand back here, and I'm giving these guys all different types of routes. So I'm going to give them that snag concept that we talked about before. I'm going to give them, whatever we're seeing. So I always say teach to the test. I know that was a big thing that you used to hear, and actually probably still do with all like the state testing and all that stuff. But if your paycheck is on the line, why wouldn't you teach to the test? So, our offense gets mad because, the day that they're installing curl flat or something like that, we're running our pass progression drill, and all we're going to see is curl flat. All right, so my middle hole player knows he's dropping off a 3. He's going to try to go expand here. Overhang's getting hands on 2. Eyes the 1. He hears the out call. He's going to try to play through this and then hug this up. So, we see it during practice, during pass progression, then we'll see it during scaly, then we'll see it during team, and we'll do it so many times that by the time we get to the game, it's just second nature. So again, teach the test. We'll do this every single day, and when we're in game week, we're probably taking the offense's top 3 or 4 concepts out of their top formations, and I'm calling it against our top defenses. So hey, we're running read here. Hey, we're running dude here. So now the light's going off in their head. All right, so this is when I have 3 to the flat. This is when I have 2 to the flat. And again, we don't want to teach defense. Our guys know the defense. All right, they know the hook curl flat drop. Now it's learning what the offense is doing. So now we can go take that away right now. Again, unfortunately, we don't have any film of that. But just wrapping up here, got a couple more things. Don't man turn. We need to keep active eyes on the man in your zone. All right, whoever 2 is, whoever 3 is, whatever. All right, and the quarterback. Because when you man turn, especially in his own coverage, you're going to miss some things. All right, so here, looking at our linebacker in the middle here, I think he does a really good job. You guys can see, peeks out to go see the curl, looks back to the quarterback, looks back to the curl, looks back to the quarterback. Really, really good job. Active eyes, active eyes, active eyes, active eyes. All right, head on a swivel lifestyle. All right, on this next one, same guy, similar concept. So we're getting crosser. All right, he's calling him off. He knows that dig's coming. He hangs in that, and you guys can see him right here. He's man turning this, but again, you miss things when you man turn in zone coverage. Quarterback pulls it and runs right where he was. I would way rather see us zone turn this, stay in front of the dig, understanding that this dig is going to continue to come across the formation. Like the guys who stand here, and then this ball gets completed 3 yards or 5 yards to their inside. Now, I understand why you want to man turn, but stick your foot in the ground, keep your eyes on the quarterback, and then just play through that window. All right, another one here, kind of Chinese fire drill, but we're looking at the linebacker right here. They're in a bunch set. You get one going vertical. Again, we're never going to ask you to run with a post. We're looking for the dig, but he man turns the post, and then they throw the dig right behind us, right where we should have been. Really, ball should have been picked off. So, again, don't man turn. And then the last couple concepts I want to talk about real quick is versus a moving pocket. So I'm going to say this. Might not make a lot of sense, but I do have some pictures of it and some video. But the linebacker to the fake or away from the sprint out rushes secondary contain. The linebacker away from the fake or to the sprint out is going to baseball turn and find the crosser. All right, so here's that picture. So you're going to get hard play action to the right here. Quarterback's going to move the pocket to the left. We're saying that this linebacker is so caught up, he's never gonna get back into coverage, especially if they got a good tight end who gets across the formation right now. I would rather him run down the line of scrimmage, and if this quarterback ends up tucking it, we're gonna go tackle it. All right. Or if we find a run through, we're gonna go run through it and try to force the ball out of the quarterback's hands. All right. The Mike in this picture has a chance. He's just gonna take 1, 2. Oh shit! It's not pass. Or it is pass, it's not run, and then he's going to baseball turn and find the crosser. I don't want to see them turn this way because by the time they do, this guy's on the other side of the formation and we're out of phase. But if they turn this way, never turning their head or turning their chest to the quarterback, they're going to be able to find that dragger. So we've got a couple of good practice reps of this. So we're getting hard play action to the left. We're saying this guy's lost. He needs to go rush secondary contain. This guy has a chance. He needs to baseball turn and then go and find that crosser. So really, really good look of finding that crosser and then running with them. All right, and then this guy who's lost in the sauce here needs to go load secondary contain. So if this quarterback does end up trying to rush it, all right, we have someone in pursuit of it. And by the way, this the drone footage is so sweet. You guys got to get on it. All right, hard play action. To the play action, he's lost. Go rush secondary contain. All right. The guy away has a chance. Turn and find the crosser. We're ahead of the crosser. We're loading secondary contain way better. And we're going to go make a play on that ball or that ball carrier. All right, and then again, that similar concept. Really, really good. All right, watching it in game. All right, so actually here we kind of overlap. And so one of the things that we always talk about, all right, number 26 here was really, really aggressive, especially in this game. They were a lot of two backs, stuff that you don't see a whole lot, ISO and lead inside zone. So he's coming like a bat out of hell. He comes downhill. We never want to chase our own color. So 26 goes, 32 needs to know that, hey, that open space that you're seeing black in now, he's taking your responsibility. Now you need to go and find the crosser here. So we do cover each other like that. But good job of going, forcing the ball out of the quarterback's hand. All right, and sprint out, similar concept now. All right, you're away from the sprint out. All the zones are moving. The offensive coordinator and quarterback are saying they want to throw the ball to this side of the field. All right, so you're going to rush secondary contain. All right, we're going to take a step with our key, all right, and then try to find the crosser or any potential like late out routes or flood routes that we can find. So pretty good job here. Only thing I'd say to this guy is, find your final 3. You're dropping deeper than him right now. You need to undercut that route, not be on top of it, and we should be able to play it. Same concept. We load secondary contain. Quarterback double clutches it, all right, and we're able to go put the heat on it and force him to get rid of the ball rather than tucking it and running with it. I want to skip over this one because I know I'm going over. But our PA, all right, so you're getting hard play action, but the pocket doesn't move. We both came up. We've lost our zones. We don't know where we're going anymore. We do what we call our search concept, where we're going to turn, and we're just going to try to find opposite color in our zone. So, again, heavy play action. So here, heavy play action. All right, we both come up. We've committed to the run. It's that oh shit, turn, look for opposite color in our zone. Just go run underneath it, turn around, and catch a great interception which led to a huge victory. So that's what we work with our underneath the zone drops. Hopefully you guys learned a little something from me. I'd love to talk to anybody about some football. Thank you and good luck this season.
Absolutely, Coach. Really appreciate that. Is there any questions, any coaches in here have any questions for Coach? Obviously, you have his email and his Twitter up there if you want to get in contact with him afterwards. If you have any follow-up questions that come to you later, if you just want to talk some ball, it's right there, and you can certainly do that, especially now, right, where as coaches we have a little more time. But if there's any questions, man, just drop it in there. And, of course, Coach, just really appreciate you once again for jumping on and, giving a great presentation and helping us get better. Obviously, there's some coaches in there just, saying the same thing as basically what I said, just great stuff and great presentation. So really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me. And like you said, if anyone wants to talk ball, I'm always eager to do that.
There you go, guys. Take advantage of that. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate Coach for jumping on with us. We'll be back.